groundwork for all happiness is good health. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to BMC Global Live Al Hilal Health World, an exclusive health talk with doctors from Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Center. Myself, Marina Francis. In today's episode of Health World, the topic that we will be dealing with is PRP treatment in orthopedics and other general orthopedic issues. Definitely, I believe it is going to be a very relevant and useful episode for the viewers, and I'm very happy to introduce to you the doctor joining with us today, a specialist orthopedic surgeon with over 20 years experience, Dr. Sumodh Sugumaran. He has completed MBBS from Kottayam Medical College, completed MS Orthopedics from SMS College, Jaipur, did MCH in 2010 and Rheumatology in 2014. Currently working at Al Hilal Hospital, Manama branch. Definitely we are happy for the doctor joining with us today. Let us hear more from him about the topic. Good evening, doctor.
Very good evening, Marina.
Thank you for joining with us in this week's Health World episode.
Thank you.
Doctor, while mentioning about the topic, I told PRP treatment. Maybe most of our viewers may not be knowing what exactly it is. So first, can you elaborate what is PRP treatment?
PRP is a short form of platelet-rich plasma.
Okay.
Platelet is otherwise known as thrombocytes. It is a cell in the blood. So platelet has got certain healing factors. Platelet helps in healing certain tissues, also regenerating certain tissues, associated with bones and the muscles, joints and cartilage. So this particular factor is used as an advantage in treating certain conditions orthopedics. So it is one of the latest additions in the treatment in orthopedics, especially sports-related orthopedics.
Okay. So while you mentioned about sports-related orthopedics, there are different sports injuries that one may face, each sports person may face. How do we tackle such sport injuries in orthopedics? How is the treatment undertaken?
Though I mentioned sports-related injuries, not only sports, the other degenerative kind of conditions orthopedics also can be treated by PRP.
Okay.
So platelet-rich plasma we use in many sports conditions, especially they are prone for sprains, strains, any injuries of the muscles, any fractures, and also certain degenerative or joint cartilage injuries. So this particular factor, the thrombocytes, helps increase healing of the tissues faster, healing the bones faster, and regenerate the cartilage faster. So with this, we use this into our advantage in treating certain conditions in orthopedics.
Okay. So what other conditions in orthopedics can be treated with PRP treatment?
Many conditions, to mention some. One is osteoarthritis.
Yes.
That is wear and tear of the joint cartilage. So osteoarthritis and sports-related osteoarthritis, that is degenerative or early osteoarthritis, and also age-related wear and tear of the joints.
Okay.
Then any sports injuries like tennis elbow, the golfer's elbow, or any strain of the muscles, sprain of the ligaments, or overuse of the tendons like tendo-Achilles tendinitis, or triceps tendinitis. So all these conditions we can use PRP.
Okay. So when you mentioned about osteoarthritis, it is something very common among people. So osteoarthritis, can we elaborate more on that? When to approach a doctor when there are certain joint pains, and how would you suggest?
Osteoarthritis is nothing but wear and tear of the joints.
Okay.
So mostly it happens in, basically we can divide into primary osteoarthritis and secondary osteoarthritis.
Okay.
Primary means age later because of wear and tear in accordance to the age. Normally sets after 40 years of age. Secondary osteoarthritis due to some underlying conditions, due to any injury to the joints or any other kinds of arthritis leads on to wear and tear of the joints.
Okay.
So mostly we encounter primary osteoarthritis, that is after an age, after 40 years of age. Normally it sets in many people. It is, as I mentioned, is a way, wear and tear of the joints. Normally the wear and tear of the joints happens in weight-bearing joints, especially the knee joints, the hip joints, and the ankle joints. No, not that it's not common in other joints, but mostly it happens in weight-bearing joints. So patient usually presents as pain, swelling in particular group of joints with difficulty in movements, instability or stiffness of the joints.
Okay, so doctor, moving on to PRP treatment. So PRP treatment can be done in which all parts of the body?
PRP can be done in almost all the parts of the body. Let me talk about orthopedic specifically. So, talking about osteoarthritis, it involves some major joints, the knee, the hip, and the ankle joints. So, where there is wear and tear of the joint, so we divide osteoarthritis in different stages, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, in early stages, first and second stage, the PRP has got a property to reverse the degeneration. So, as I mentioned before, it is wear and tear or degeneration of the joint. So, to reverse the degeneration or to regenerate the joint cartilage, the PRP has a role. So, what we do is we extract the platelet, the PRP, the platelet or the thrombocyte from the blood. There's a process for that. We extract the blood from the patient, volume of blood. We centrifuge it, process it, and extract the platelet-rich plasma. And that platelet-rich plasma is injected to that particular joint. And this particular, this platelet in high concentrations is localized into that particular joint. So it has got a regenerative property. So after a certain time, it regenerates the joint cartilage and gives a drastic relief to the patient.
So, doctor, you elaborated on the process, how it is done. So, how long can this process be? Is it done as one set, or
it depends upon certain areas again. So, to talk about osteoarthritis, the whole process of doing it. So, as I told you, we extract the patient's own blood, and then they remove the platelet out of the blood, and that particular platelets are injected into the joint. So, that process takes around 15 minutes to get the platelet. So, to extract the blood, the process to get the platelets out of the blood to segregate the platelet fragment, that particular process takes around 15 minutes. So, once we give it in all sterile conditions into the particular area. For the talking about osteoarthritis, we usually follow the protocol. We have to repeat every month for 3 months repeatedly. So today if you do, the next month we repeat the same day, and the next month the 3 sittings are given, and after that we repeat every year. So normally the effect of PRP starts on average around 3 weeks after the first injection.
So, doctor, is there any particular age for doing this, or can elderly people do? Or
any age we can do PRP, even from the child to the. Only thing is that we should get the adequate blood. So in children to extract or 15-20 ml blood in a single go is difficult. So normally we encourage PRP after certain age, after 18 years of age, to any age, old age. There's no issues. But to be specific on osteoarthritis basically happens. Primary osteoarthritis, as I mentioned, is after 40 years. So that's the age period for osteoarthritis. But said for other conditions like tennis elbow, the golfer's elbow, tendo Achilles tendinitis, triceps tendinitis, or other sprains or strains, there's no age bar. So any sports persons they are involved in a younger age group. So for them there's no age bar.
Okay. Doctor, can you elaborate on the other sports injuries, like you mentioned tennis elbow, or other injuries that commonly young people come presenting with?
So tennis elbow and the golfer's elbow, though it is known as tennis and the golfer's elbow, we should not mention this as a sports injury, but it's very common in sports person. But any activity involving this particular group of muscles around the elbow can lead on to tennis elbow or the golfer's elbow. Okay. So especially the homemakers, the housewives, or the laborers who are doing heavy works, or even the person who attends gym regularly, who is doing heavy workout or playing regularly, can have this. So it'll be annoying for them, because though it is a lifestyle related disease, they want to be on the move. They want to be doing the workouts or doing the household activities. So we cannot ask them to modify the lifestyle by reducing these activities. So we should give them a solution. So the better solution at this era is PRP, which helps to heal that particular area by injecting certain platelets into that area.
Okay. So doctor, PRP treatment is a newly come up treatment, I suppose.
Yeah.
Doctor, how is the pain involved in the treatment? How is it?
Pain, there's no pain as such except the injection pain. So there'll be 2 injections, first to take the blood and the second injection to inject into the particular site. So while you inject that, as you know, the prick of a small needle, that particular pain only usually patients have, no other pain otherwise.
Doctor, a common orthopedic issue that people complain about is the knee pain. How is knee pain, and PRP treatment, how does it help for knee pain?
So knee pain knee is a weight bearing joint. So knee pain as such, there are many causes for that. So it could be a injury related pain, like a sports injuries, or could be sprain of the sports injury, or could be any arthritis of the joint, degenerative arthritis like osteoarthritis. So especially in the injuries, for example, let me talk about medial collateral ligament injury. So ligament in the outer inner side of the knee. So when it is injured in the sports person. So if you do PRP, it helps in healing the medial collateral ligament earlier. The cruciate ligament injury, anterior cruciate ligament sprain especially, is not completely torn, partial tear. If you do PRP, it has shown encouraging results in healing. The joint cartilage injuries, especially again the sports person. So joint cartilage. So when we do PRP, we have seen the degenerative property in the cartilage. In osteoarthritis, wear and tear of the joint. So as I told you, degeneration again. So it helps to regenerate the joint cartilage again if you do it in early stage of osteoarthritis.
Doctor, another common issue is back pain. What could be the major causes that may cause back pain, and how should we go about with treating it? Is PRP treatment helpful in that as well?
Back pain is such as a very, very, very big topic. A lot of causes. But since we talked about PRP and the back pain, yeah, there are certain conditions in the back where we can do PRP, especially again strain of the ligaments. So patient met with a road traffic with a whiplash, with a strain of the ligaments of the spine, or a injury to the spine with a fall, concussion, contusion injuries, or any arthritis involving the facet joint, arthritis of spinal cord, or the sacral leg joint, we can do PRP, which helps to heal. But back pain, there are many reasons. To keep aside, there are many reasons of back pain. So all the conditions of back pain, we don't do PRP, but in certain conditions, especially the sprain and strain involving the ligaments, the contusion, the concussion injuries of the spine, and also certain arthritis which involves the spine, like ankylosing spondylitis, or the rheumatoid condition, or the facet joint arthritis, we do PRP. Really helps you out in the PRP.
The PRP treatment is quite important in many of the joint
Many of the conditions. Yeah, in the back also it helps. Yeah.
Doctor, you came mentioning about whiplash injury caused due to various accidents, some accident that may occur. Can you elaborate on whiplash injury and how can be treated?
Whiplash is something like, the whip and lash. So when you, especially the road traffic accidents, you have a jerk from the back, from neck to the back. So whiplash injury commonly affects the upper spine, the neck part actually, and the mid back, upper back and the mid back, the neck area and the back. So in the whiplash, basically we see the involved on the interspinal ligaments. There is injury to the ligaments, the soreness of the ligaments. So in that injury also we can do PRP, and which can encourage healing of the ligaments faster. And the muscle which is involved also can be healed faster with the PRP around the spine.
Doctor, at Al Hilal Hospital, is there any offer currently running for PRP treatment?
Yeah, at present there's a promotion which is going on. So we are encouraging the PRP. We're introducing this into market. So and also in discounted price, there's an offer going on at present Al Hilal. So people who have these issues, please, you can come and visit me at Al Hilal Manama. I work in Al Hilal Manama. Please.
We definitely have many more queries regarding orthopedic issues, and we will be clarifying those. Here we shall take a very short pause. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after a very short break. Welcome back. You're watching BMC Global Live Al Hilal Health World, an exclusive health talk. Today, talking to us is an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Sumodh Sugumaran, and we are discussing on the topic the importance of PRP treatment in orthopedics and also other orthopedic issues. So let us continue with the remaining queries. Doctor, so can you elaborate on exactly how the PRP treatment process is done?
Okay. As I told you, it hardly takes around 15-20 minutes. Patient can go back after the procedure. Normally the procedure, patient comes in the morning or at the set time, appointment time, and after having his normal food as it takes every day. So they don't have to come fasting, and we take a certain amount of blood, venous blood from the patient. So normally around 15 to 20 ml blood we take, and we have got a PRP kit, so which has got certain chemicals, so which helps to segregate this one, and this is centrifuged. we use a machine, not a centrifuge. In aseptic condition, this is centrifuge for a particular period of time. So normally we 3000 to 4000 for 10 to 15 minutes is what the processing time is. So we centrifuge that, and this segregates the platelet out of the blood components. You know, there are many blood components like white blood cells, the red blood cells, the thrombocytes, and the plasma. So PRP is plasma, platelet-rich plasma. Okay, the thrombocyte is the platelets. So platelet-rich plasma is PRP. So we centrifuge and extract the PRP out of that, and then PRP is removed using a clean needle. Okay, and it is activated. It is activated. There's a process for activating, and then we activate that and inject in that locally prepared area. So the plasma acts as a media, as a volume, as a fluid. It acts as a media. It has got a concentrated platelet, and this acts as a media to inject into the particular area. And after the injection, the patient can go immediately home.
So is there any preparation that the patient should do before coming, and even soon after going? Should we stop our daily activities or take rest or anything like that?
Okay. There's no as preparation as that. They come as they go anywhere. They come to the hospital after cleaning their particular area, have a good bath and come. After the procedure, as I told, no medications. We usually don't advise any medications except with severe pain, paracetamol, 1 gram, up to 1 gram, if needed only. And for 72 hours, we don't encourage applying anything locally, like hot compresses or the cold compresses. We don't encourage. We ask them not to avoid. The pain is too much, we advise take some paracetamol up to 1 gram. Okay. And regarding the activities, especially sports persons or the person who goes for normal exercises, we advise them to go slow on that for 72 hours, 3 days to 4 days. And once the pain is better or tolerable, then slowly we encourage to go to normal activities. But in sports injuries, especially in sports injuries like ligament sprains and that, though we give the injections, the rehabilitation takes a longer time, depends upon the injury. So as I told you, it helps reduce the healing time. So we have to give adequate time for that to heal. So that is taken on patient to patient basis.
Doctor, what is the role of proper physical exercise in avoiding joint pains or orthopedic issues?
Avoiding joint pains, there is no physical activity. As I told you, there are hundreds of reasons of joint pains. So exercise do have a role in certain joint pains. So for example, inflammatory joint pains, for example, rheumatoid, ankylosing spondylitis. So these are conditions where the stiffness of the joints can persist. In that, the mobility exercises are important, that to keep on moving. To prevent joint pain, there are no such exercises, but we do encourage exercise to strengthen the muscles around the joints, to keep the muscles healthy, that can help to stabilize the joints in certain conditions. To prevent from any joint pain coming to an individual, it is not possible by any of the exercises.
Doctor, similarly, what could be the role of diet in maintaining a good muscle and joint health?
That has got a very, 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 very big role, not only in orthopedics, in generally. So orthopedics, especially the weight is very important. So for the age and for the height. Okay. So as I told you, the degenerative changes, especially osteoarthritis in the weight-bearing joint, happens in the weight-bearing joint. For example, when you walk, when you stand, around 5 times your body weight is falling on the weight-bearing joints. When you run, when you climb up and down the steps, when you jump, it becomes 8 to 10 times. So imagine the amount of weight which is held by the joints. So always the weight, optimal weight, always is healthier for the joints. So always the weight reduction, weight maintenance is very important, and weight maintenance always happens with diet only, healthy food. And bones and joints, we always encourage to have calcium-rich food. So because the bones is a big source of calcium. So in certain age, we have to feed the bones with calcium so that we can use it in certain age, especially old age. So old age also, it should not be used in such a way that the bone become brittle or osteoporotic. So to encourage that, we have to include calcium-rich food in the normal diet. So normally the calcium-rich food comes from milk products, the non-veg, especially chicken, mutton, fish which can be eaten with the bones, the shellfishes, then all kinds of cheese, root vegetables. And of course, the effect of sunlight should not be forgotten. Sunlight, the vitamin D, sun has to fall on the skin regularly, daily, because there's a hormone. Though it's not a vitamin D, we consider this as a hormone because that's very important in calcium metabolism and by keeping your bones and joints healthier.
So, doctor, the other nutritional aspects that needs to be considered for good muscle and bone health, like vitamin D. Can you elaborate on that? Vitamin D and sunlight.
Vitamin D, not from the diet, because the vitamin D receptors are kept under the skin.
Okay.
So it is like a solar panel to us. So when the sun falls, sun rays falls on the skin, this is stimulator, and there's a process again, D1, D2, D3, and the metabolic process are there. So ultimately, the vitamin D is produced in the blood or in the body once the sun rays falls on the skin.
Okay.
And this vitamin D is very important, absorbing the calcium from the intestine and leading this calcium to the bones.
Okay.
So it is a very important vitamin in relation to the orthopedics. So we encourage people regular exercises along with going out in the sun day-to-day basis.
Okay.
So it is told that if a person exposes the maximum part of the body, so say for example the upper limb and the lower limb, and stay in the sun in the mid-noon, say about 12 noon, up for 1 hour, we get only daily requirement of vitamin D, single day requirement of vitamin D. So approximately single day requirement is calculated as 2000 to 3000 IU vitamin D.
Okay.
So we encourage people to go more out in the sun with exposing a little part of the body.
So I think almost every day we advise.
We have to go out in the sun daily, every day.
Yes. So vitamin D deficiency is something very concerning for many people here, even being in this part of the country.
Yeah.
Being with so much of sunlight, still vitamin D deficiency is
Absolutely. Basically, because of the heat, we don't go out. We try to be indoors. Not only for the bones, the vitamin D is very important. The calcium is very important for the other structures, bone and muscles. For the heart, the calcium. Even for the nerves, the calcium is important. For normal working of the central nervous system, the calciums are important. So, vitamin D is an essential part in that. So, please, sun is very important. So, you do have to go out in the sun.
Doctor, what do you advise regarding the nutritional supplements that people take? How do you advise whether supplements are good to take, or how frequently can we take supplements?
Supplements is nothing but food adjuvants only. For example, the calcium. So calcium, yes, it is very much important, especially in a woman after a certain age group and a male after a certain age group. In younger age groups, say for women after when the menstrual menopausal age, premenopausal and menopausal age, we encourage them to take calcium because the calcium demand increases, else the bone calcium is absorbed and bone become osteoporosis. In the man after 60 years of age, we encourage to take calcium in certain doses. In young individuals, we usually don't encourage calcium tablets unless there is calcium deficiency. There are certain conditions where the calcium can be deficient, in which we give a supplement. Otherwise, we don't. Regarding the supplements, other supplements like vitamin D, yes, we do. Especially the vitamin D is deficient. So we do the test for the vitamin D and see the vitamin D is deficient. So normally we have to maintain a vitamin D level around a level. So if that is not that, we have to encourage taking vitamin D supplements. Then taking other supplements like minerals, some manganese, magnesium. These are all micronutrients. And this usually we get it from the food. If you're taking healthy diet, balanced diet, and adequate amount of fruits, vegetables, and all the other micronutrients, you get it, especially the multivitamins. All these are not necessary as such if you're taking a balanced, healthy diet. But if you have a deficiency of certain vitamins or some gastrointestinal problem where the vitamins not absorbed in the body, yeah, we do encourage them to take the supplements.
Okay. After you repeatedly mentioned about the importance of calcium, so what could be the problems associated with deficiency of calcium, and how to adequately tackle it?
See, calcium is a very big asset. I don't want to go deep in that. Calcium is very important, not only in the bones, as I mentioned, to normal conduction of the nervous system, the normal function of the heart. Okay, this is all maintained by the certain chemicals. So calcium is one of the major elements in that. So talking about the bones, why I'm especially highlighting about calcium is regarding the bones, the osteoporotic part. So that is what when we talk when you think about calcium, they talk about the osteoporosis. So osteoporosis in a woman, it can set in after age, especially menopausal, after menopause, because as I told you, when the female hormones are ceased, the menopause sets in. These hormones are very important to maintain the calcium in the bones. So the calcium absorption demand increases and the absorption becomes faster from the bones. So the bone depletes the calcium, bone becomes porous, osteoporosis. In the male issue, this sets in after the age of 60 years, because of the hormonal depletions. So we encourage in the woman after 40-45 years to take calcium, and men after 60 years to take calcium so that the bone calcium is protected, so it doesn't go into osteoporosis.
Doctor, you came mentioning about whiplash injury caused due to various accidents, some accident that may occur. Can you elaborate on whiplash injury and how can be treated?
Whiplash is something like, the whip
Yes.
and lash. So when you, especially the road traffic accidents, you have a jerk from the back, neck to the back. So whiplash injury commonly affects the upper spine, the neck part actually, and the mid back, upper back and the mid back, the neck area and the back. So in the whiplash, basically we see the involved on the interspinal ligaments. There is injury to the ligaments, the soreness of the ligaments. So in that injury also we can help. We can do PRP and which can encourage healing of the ligaments faster. And the muscle which is involved also can be healed faster with the PRP around the spine.
Doctor, coming towards the end of the episode, you mentioned various different aspects covering different kinds of pains, appealing for different viewers. What could be an overall advice from your side regarding how to maintain proper muscle health, joint health?
Balancing the diet properly, eat healthy, doing regular exercises to maintain the fitness. Exercises are, again, let me repeat, to maintain the fitness, not to harm your body. Choose your exercise wisely. Every age, looking at your body accordingly. Exercise doesn't mean that you torture your body or harm your body. So exercise are to maintain the fitness. So love your body, optimize your weight, eat healthy, maintain adequate nutrition. Yes, please do go out in the sun regularly.
True. Doctor, we should also wind up the PRP treatment aspects. Your final take on PRP treatment?
PRP is a new addition in orthopedics in the treatment, and it shows very encouraging results in many of the conditions, especially sports injuries, as I mentioned before, and also any degenerative conditions of the joints like osteoarthritis. And not to forget about the spine conditions, which we discussed now. It is showing wonderful results, and it is a natural form of healing. We use our own blood component, the thrombocytes, to heal it. We're not using any, before we used to use steroids and all, but it has got its own role. But steroids has got, or other kind of injections has got its own side effects, but this doesn't have the side effects. Less discomfort to the patient and very encouraging results. If people can afford, definitely yes, I would recommend PRP treatment in many of the conditions in orthopedics.
Thank you so much, doctor, for answering all our queries today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here with you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Definitely, this episode would have been a very informative and relevant one for many viewers. Just like doctor's advice said, PRP treatment is beneficial for many orthopedic issues. So do consider it. May I reiterate, if you are someone suffering from an orthopedic issue, as mentioned in today's episode, do consult an orthopedic surgeon in your nearest hospital branch. Do take advice, take treatment. Sure, it will be beneficial. We shall be back next week as well with another relevant topic. Until then, this is Marina Francis signing off. Stay healthy, stay happy. Good night.